Okay, gang. So, final phase 3 of Blast Furnace. Security guards are still going to be present. Fire crawlers, they're still going to be present. So we have to make sure that we clear them up. At this point, Heart of the Mountain is going to join the fight now. So basically, we've done enough damage to the Blast Furnace that we've been able to free the elemental now, and we're going to engage it. Now, as we know throughout the encounter, he was repeatedly doing blast at a rate that was equivalent to the amount of energy that he had, which scales to time, and that time is actually available. So you can look at the chart there on the guide. At this point, though, he becomes superheated, and when he's superheated, he's going to be at 100 basically the entire time. So he's going to do blast every 5 seconds. So this is the soft and rage element of it. It's going to occur so often that the healers are going to be healing so much that the idea is eventually they're going to run out of mana. So this is a scalable fight too, that as we get more gear, it's going to become a lot easier to do, at this point, because we'll have more mana regeneration, we'll have more powerful spells and functions of that nature. So from what I'm gathering, though, is he has 2 elements that we want to look out for. That's Melt and Blast. Melt is randomly casted underneath a range, a healer, or a melee that creates a zone where you're going to basically, I would assume, see some sort of magma. There is a picture available in the guide, so you can take a look at it. And the idea is that it's going to be cast underneath you, and if you stand in it, you're going to burn, so don't stand underneath it. The idea that I'm seeing us do with here is to take HM once he's out, and then just move him in a clockwise fashion around the room, thus doing a spread, then melee, tighter spread, do something like 2-yard spread here, 3-yard spread here, do 4-yard, 5-yard here, and then we just follow them around in a cone-like fashion around the room, and you just keep adjusting towards the target as we move. Tanks will sit there, and basically what we'll do is we can either break it down into 4 quadrants where we work one area and then we move to another area, or keep doing something like on Lei Shen, for example, where that was the same kind of concept where you worked the 4 different areas based on the electricity. This one here is he's going to be creating the zone's impairment. So we'll just keep moving like so as we move around. Responsibilities for the tanks include staying out of patches, so moving consistently so that way we don't have melt becoming an impediment to our success. We also have to make sure that at 3 stacks, the 2 tanks are rotating. He does a debuff on you called heat. So basically the MT will get the 3 OT tanks. 2 of them are going to be on top of each other. Both will have symbols at this point, I'm sure, or in general, they'll know where each other are at. So just stay stacked and keep moving together from quadrant to quadrant. We can move them in, then turn, wait, bunch of melts happen, move a little bit, bunch of melts happen, move a little bit, bunch of melts happen. At the point that the security guards and fire crawlers are present, we can either do hero immediately as we enter into this phase, or, for example, like we're having issues with phase 1, phase 2, we can use hero then until we can get to phase 3. But what I'm seeing is let's just use standard tactic of damage into the security guards and the fire crawlers, being present with us always wanting to rotate into the heart of the mountain as quickly as possible. That we'll be using our hero at this point, so that way we can immediately adjust to the damage output. We can immediately get rid of all the additional adds and then engage on heart of mountain and do the proper movement as we go through. Damage responsibilities: don't stand and melt. So if you see something underneath you, move. Okay, it's either forward or you can use your strafe keys, Q and E, to get yourself out of it as quickly as possible. Don't turn, don't back out of it, go forward. We're always going to move forward on this encounter. Next is damage cooldowns. If there's a conjunction where you're not paying attention because you've got tunnel vision or fatigue or whatnot, and melt occurs at the same time that blast does, which is every 5 seconds, so that's going to happen. Make sure you use a personal cooldown at that point. Use personal, use a health stone, whatever. Do something, get out of it as quickly as possible. DBS should be using his cooldowns to defeat the heart of the mountain as quickly as possible before the healers end up getting overrun. Tanks are going to be taking periodic damage, so for healer responsibilities, we want to make sure that we have dedicated heals going into the tank that's responsible for tanking them. So MTs on them, we'll have 1 to 2 healers, no matter what, dedicated to them. The other 3 heals will be responsible for heals, etc. will be responsible for the group. Remember to watch out for the switch off. We don't want to keep healing the MT if at 3 they do a switch off. So we'll make sure we get calls out on that. Be like MT, switching, taunt, whatever you hear, then you know that the heals will be going into the other target. If you move slowly out of melt, you're going to take heavy damage. So just watch out. And then we're going to need a rotation cooldown, coordinated cooldown rotation for dealing with the blast. So for example, what we want to do is that if a blast is occurring every so often of 5 seconds, we're going to make sure that we have it where one person does their cooldown and then the next person does their cooldown when it's done. So we're going to have some start and end callouts from healers. So that way we can get a proper stacking and we don't end up just blowing 2-3 cooldowns every single time. So that's something that we're going to work on and take direction at. That's it for this video. This is it for the Phase 3. This is all Blatz Furnace. I appreciate your time for watching the videos. If you have any questions, hit me up in a game. Please click like below and have a great day.